They poured expired milk into my locker, and within seconds, the whole hallway smelled like a rotting dumpster. I never thought my breaking point would come from something so stupid and cruel. But that was the moment everything changed. My name is Emma. I'm 16, and up until that day, I was the kind of girl people barely noticed. The morning started like any other earbuds and head down trying to make it to homeroom without brushing against anyone. But as I approached my locker, a cluster of students were already gathering, pinching their noses and whispering. I didn't think much of it until I opened my locker door. It hit me like a punch to the face. The stench, thick, sour, nauseating. My textbooks were soaked in white slime, and at the bottom of the locker sat a half-empty gallon jug of expired milk, curdled and steaming from the heat. I stared at it frozen as laughter erupted behind me. "Oh my God, she's gonna puke," a voice cackled. I turned slowly and saw them, Brielle, Sky, and Jasmine. They were all from my chemistry class, always whispering and giggling whenever I answered questions or wore anything remotely out of fashion. Brielle held up her phone, filming me. "Smile, Emma," she called out. "You're going viral today." Something inside me cracked. I slammed the locker door shut and ran to the bathroom, bile rising in my throat. I scrubbed my hands with soap, then with hand sanitizer, then with water again, but the smell wouldn't leave. I reeked. My hoodie was splattered, my math binder destroyed. I wanted to cry, but I couldn't. If I cried, they'd win even more. At lunch, I sat in the far stall of the girls' bathroom sandwich, untouched in my bag. From outside, I could hear girls talking. "Did you see the video? They actually did it. Dumped milk in her locker like a horror movie. And she just stood there like she didn't even know how to breathe." I buried my face in my arms and tried to disappear. That evening, I didn't tell my mom. I told her I spilled something in my bag. She looked at me strangely, like she wanted to ask more, but she didn't. Instead, she gave me a tight hug and went back to her work calls. I took a long shower, scrubbing my skin raw, but I still swore I could smell it. I felt dirty. Not just outside, but inside too. And that night, lying in bed, still fighting the sting in my eyes, I saw Brielle's new post on her story. A blurry image of my ruined locker captioned, "Emma got milk." I stared at the screen. For once, I didn't cry. I didn't scroll away. I just stared. And something sharp and dark curled up in my chest. That's when I knew. This wasn't going to end unless I ended it. The next day, I came in early to school. I didn't want to see anyone. I just wanted to clean up what was left of my locker, grab what I could salvage, and disappear before the hallways filled. But the smell still lingered. I held my breath as I peeled ruined pages from my textbooks and threw them into a plastic trash bag. The custodian walked by and paused. "Jesus, kid," he muttered, fanning his nose. "You okay?" I nodded without meeting his eyes. I wasn't okay. Not even close. By first period, the story had already spread like wildfire. Kids snickered as I walked past. I could hear them whispering, "Milk girl. Rotten locker. Did you see her face?" No one sat next to me in class. Even Mr. Keller, my English teacher, raised his eyebrows when I entered the room, his nostrils twitching slightly. I had washed every item of clothing I owned twice, but it didn't matter. The humiliation clung to me like a second skin. Lunch was worse. My usual spot near the back window was taken, not that I would have sat there anyway. I grabbed a tray of food I wasn't going to eat and went to the restroom instead. I locked myself into the same stall as yesterday. I just needed to hide. But hiding didn't help. Not when the bullies were actively making sure everyone saw me. That afternoon, someone slipped a carton of milk into my backpack when I wasn't looking. When I opened it during last period, it burst open all over my sketchbook. The giggles were immediate. Brielle turned in her seat, smirking with her chin resting in her hand. "Oops," she mouthed. I said nothing. I clenched my fists under the desk so hard that my nails dug into my palms. When I got home, I locked myself in my room. I didn't even turn on the lights. I sat on the floor, legs folded, heart pounding with shame and rage. I couldn't focus. I couldn't study. I couldn't draw. That's when I got the message. It was anonymous, sent through the school forum app. Just a line of text, "Her locker combo is 22-8-14. Not that I said anything. My hands trembled as I stared at the screen. 22-8-14. Brielle's locker. I stared at it for a full minute before locking my phone and tossing it away like it was poison. I wasn't like them. I wasn't going to stoop to that level. But the next day, the cafeteria was full of laughter again, laughter aimed at me. They had posted the video, the one from the hallway, the milk my face, the sound of their laughter echoing through the screen. Everyone was watching, and suddenly I remembered the combination again. Click, something cold settled in my chest. I wasn't going to stoop to their level. I was going to outsmart it. The lock popped open easier than I expected. Brielle's locker was a shrine to her ego photos taped on the inside expensive makeup bags and a cheerleader jacket that smelled like fake strawberry perfume. I didn't touch anything. Not yet. I shut it quickly and walked away, my heart pounding so loud it made my ears ring. I didn't do anything wrong, not yet. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. All night I lay awake in bed thinking about the milk, the videos, the sneers. I wasn't angry anymore. I was cold, focused. I didn't want revenge for attention. I wanted control. I wanted silence. And I wanted it to last. The next day in chemistry class, something clicked ironically during Brielle's smug presentation on chemical reactions. That's when I got the idea. A petty prank? No. A chain reaction. I started gathering materials. Nothing harmful, nothing that could actually get me expelled, just effective. There's this trick we learned in lab a few weeks ago. Mix certain safe ingredients like sulfur-based stink compounds and you get the kind of stench that makes people gag for hours. It clings to fabric. It's not dangerous, but it is unforgettable. For 3 days, I tested small batches at home. My mom thought I was just experimenting for class. I made sure to wear gloves, a mask, and I stored the mixtures in double-sealed zip bags. I wasn't sloppy, but I wasn't done with just Brielle. No, Sky and Jasmine deserved their share too. I watched. I observed their patterns. Sky always left her gym bag in the hallway before volleyball practice. Jasmine stored her makeup in her cubby near the theater costume room. So careless, so trusting. By Friday, I was ready. I waited until after school when the hallways were empty. First, I returned to Brielle's locker. I placed one of the scent bombs tucked deep into the sleeve of her cheer jacket. It wouldn't be found until she put it on. Sky's gym bag was next, right beneath her sneakers. Finally, Jasmine's little velvet pouch of cosmetics. I wedged the tiniest bag into the lining. Barely noticeable. I didn't laugh, I didn't smile. I just walked out silent, steady. Saturday came and went. I stayed off social media. I didn't check for updates. But Monday, that was when everything exploded. The second Brielle entered homeroom, people started shifting away from her. She looked confused at first, then insulted. "Is there something wrong with the HVAC?" she snapped. Sky arrived late, sweating from morning practice. She peeled off her jacket and nearly gagged. "Oh my God, what is that?" By third period, Jasmine walked in late and sat in front of me. Her hair swayed side to side like always, but this time the perfume wasn't covering anything. Her stench was unmistakable. And for once, I wasn't the one everyone was staring at. They were. It was like watching dominoes fall. By lunch, the whole school was talking about it. 3 of the most popular girls suddenly smelled like sewage, and no one knew why. People held their noses in the hallways, made gagging noises behind their backs, and took sneaky videos under desks. Brielle looked furious. She stormed from class to class, demanding to see the nurse, her face blotchy red from embarrassment. "Something's wrong with my locker," she said loudly to anyone who would listen. "It has to be the vents." But the janitor checked and found nothing. Nothing at all. Sky got it worse. The stink in her gym bag had soaked into her hoodie. She had to borrow a shirt from Lost and found an oversized t-shirt with a cartoon frog on it. When she walked past me in the hallway, she caught me looking. "What are you staring at?" she snapped. I shrugged. "Nothing." And Jasmine... Poor Jasmine. She reapplied perfume so often that the scent clouded around her like a chemical bomb, but it only made things worse. By fourth period, someone had taped a sticky note to her locker, "Rotten Barbie." They were unraveling. I didn't gloat, I didn't celebrate, I just watched silent. For the first time, people stopped whispering when I walked by. They made space for me in the cafeteria line. Even the teachers gave me nods like they were seeing me for the first time. It felt good, too good. That night I saw the Bullies group chat screenshots posted anonymously. Someone had leaked it. They were turning on each other. Brielle blamed Sky for the stink. Sky accused Jasmine. Jasmine said maybe one of them had pissed off the wrong nerd. I wasn't mentioned. Not once. But what I didn't expect came the next morning. Jasmine was crying. I passed by the bathroom before homeroom and heard it muffled sobs coming from the second stall. I paused, unsure. Then I heard her voice through the sniffles. I didn't do anything to deserve this. Why is this happening to me? I froze. She had done something, they all had, but standing there I felt something twist in my stomach. Regret? Guilt. Or maybe just a flicker of something human I hadn't felt since they poured that milk into my locker. Still, I walked away. Later that day in chemistry, Brielle shot me a glare across the lab. Her face was tired, hair greasy, like she hadn't slept. "It was you," she whispered venom behind her words. I didn't flinch. "Prove it." She didn't reply. That was the beauty of it. There was no evidence, nothing they could pin on me, just a mystery stench they couldn't escape and a silence I'd weaponized better than they ever did with their words. But revenge isn't always clean. It clings to you too, quietly. I just didn't know it yet. By the end of the week, the entire school had shifted. The queens of cruelty were no longer admired, they were avoided. People whispered around them, not about them. Every hallway they entered grew tense, and every classroom fell quiet when they passed through. And I was free. Free from the smell, from the ridicule, from the fear. For the first time in forever, I didn't dread walking into school. I wore what I wanted. I even raised my hand in chemistry. But the victory didn't feel like I expected. There was no parade, no applause, just silence. Sweet, liberating, complicated silence. Then Friday afternoon, Brielle cornered me. I was pulling my books from my locker. Yes, my locker finally aired out and scrubbed clean when she slammed her palm against the metal beside my head. "I know it was you," she hissed, eyes burning. "You think you're clever, but I'm not stupid." I met her stare. "You poured milk in my locker. You made me a joke." That was just a prank. And this was just chemistry. She flinched. A teacher rounded the corner and she backed off, muttering under her breath, "You're gonna regret this." But she didn't look like someone in control anymore. She looked scared, cornered, like she was holding on to the last threads of her reputation and losing. That weekend, the fallout spread online. The video of Brielle gagging in class had gone viral on a student meme account. Someone edited in cartoon flies and sad violin music. Her perfect image was ruined. Sky unfollowed everyone. Jasmine deleted all her selfies. Brielle stopped posting altogether. I didn't post anything, but Monday morning everything shifted again. I found a note tucked into my locker. No threats, no insults. Just 2 words written in rushed handwriting. "I'm sorry." No name, but I didn't need one. I stared at it for a long time, unsure what I felt. Relief, closure. Maybe just tired. Because the truth was winning didn't undo what they'd done. I still remembered the sting of sour milk dripping down my fingers, the way people laughed, the way my chest caved in when I hid in the bathroom. Those memories didn't just disappear with their popularity, but neither did the strength I'd found. I learned to stand taller, to speak a little louder, to walk through those halls like I belonged because I did. I always did. They just didn't want me to realize it. Now they were the ones walking fast, avoiding eyes, pretending not to notice the whispers. I didn't need to ruin them completely. I didn't want to. I just wanted balance. Fairness. A little justice. And I got it. But deep down, I knew this wasn't really about lockers or milk or stink bombs. It was about power and what happens when the people who think they own it finally lose it. The final ripple came 2 weeks later. I was at my locker again this time, stuffing my hoodie away before gym, when I saw Jasmine approaching from the other end of the hall. Her steps were slow or cautious. She didn't have makeup on, no followers trailing behind her like shadows. Just Jasmine. She stopped a few feet away, glancing down at her shoes. "Can I talk to you?" I shut my locker. "Sure." She looked like she didn't expect me to say yes. I know we weren't friends, and I know I was awful. I waited. I didn't know it would go that far. The milk thing, it wasn't even my idea, but I didn't stop it. I laughed. I joined in. Her voice cracked. "I'm sorry." I believed her. Or maybe I just wanted to. I nodded. "Okay." Her eyes lifted in surprise. "That's it. I'm not going to hold it forever. Just don't let it happen to someone else." She nodded quickly, almost grateful, and stepped away. After that day, things slowly settled. Brielle still glared whenever we crossed paths, but she had no fire left. Sky avoided everyone. Jasmine joined a quiet group of girls in the art room during lunch. Me, I started living again. I joined the yearbook committee. I submitted my art to a statewide competition. I even made a friend, Lena, the shy girl from the forum who I suspected had sent me that locker combo. She never admitted it, but we shared a knowing look one day, and that was enough. For the first time, I had a circle. Small but real. Still, there were moments when the old fears crept back in. A sudden laugh in the hallway. A whisper behind my back. But I didn't flinch anymore. Because I knew what I'd lived through and what I had taken back for myself. One morning, as I walked into school, the janitor gave me a nod and smiled. "Smells better around here lately," he said with a wink. I smiled back. He was right. This whole place smelled different now. Maybe because the balance had shifted. Or maybe because I had changed. Not into someone cruel, but into someone stronger. Looking back, it wasn't the stink that haunted me. It was how powerless I felt. And now I don't feel powerless anymore. Not because I fought back, but because I remembered who I was before they tried to erase me. Emma, 16. Not invisible, not weak, and definitely not the girl who stays quiet anymore. My story isn't just about revenge, it's about standing up when others try to push you down. Being bullied didn't make me weak, but it did test my courage and self-worth to the limit. I've learned that you can reclaim your voice without becoming cruel. Even when bullies make you feel small, never let them define who you are. If you're going through something similar, remember this: you're not alone. Find strength in your silence, in your courage, and in doing what's right. Justice doesn't always come quickly, but you deserve respect, and you have every right to protect yourself with intelligence, calmness, and resilience.